Hi, everybody. How are you today? Today, I have an interesting subject. It's mainly about the Hajj, which is in Mecca today. Now, in order to talk about the Hajj, I would have to talk a little bit about Abraham and a little bit about Muhammad, the messenger, and as well about maybe somewhat quotations within the Quran, not precise, but paraphrasing in general. But anyway, we want to start, first of all, with the Hajj to give, for those people who don't know what the Hajj is. Basically, the Hajj is a cubic, uh, a, a big cubic statue that sits in Mecca, a square cubic, sort of, a huge square cubic that sits in the center of a square, and people basically surround that square and offer their prayers and meditation or whatever uh, to Allah now, or to known as our God or Allah in Islam or in the Quran. But anyway, now to start off, how did the Hajj originate? Well, from what we know is that the Hajj, it has originated a long ago, and much even earlier than actually Abraham brought it up. But Abraham was the very first one to actually bring it into the into the picture, sort of the. I'm not sure if you want to call it the uh, two religions in that area, because he was sort of in the he belonged to both to the Jews and to the Muslim, or so Abraham was sort of a descendant of both in some sense. But anyway, but the Islam is really the one who actually coined phrase and claimed the Hajj than any other one that I'm aware of. And it's interestingly because the Hajj is actually very important. Why? Well, many things are important, but the Hajj is one of the most important things, or the most important thing in actually the whole Bible or the Quran or in all of our existence or the universe. And there's a reason for it. It makes it has a statement in there which I will later on point to. But at first, I want to continue with Abraham, bringing the Hajj, with the first one to highlight or bring a terminology or some type of a statue or an idea in generally what the Hajj was. Well, anyway, he was the first to bring it up. Then after a while, when he did that, it wasn't really so much widely known as it is today, but still, it was there, and Abraham brought it. But now later on, what happened is that Muhammad eventually brought it, but I want to talk a little bit maybe about Muhammad too, to generally give that. Well, Muhammad was the last messenger of Islam, and messenger of God, or known as Allah in Islam. And he had also an interesting life, and he was definitely very dedicated to our God, or to Allah in his case. And to me, our God is Allah, Allah is our God, or same thing, Jehovah is Allah, Allah is Jehovah. They're really all the same, because in the end, both the Testament and the Quran say there is only one God. So no matter what we call our God, I simply frame it looselier than actually giving a name, I simply say our God. When I usually mean that, it is that one God that all the Bibles or the religions speak of, the same one God. Basically, it doesn't really matter which religion it is, because there is only one God. So we're all actually praying to the same one God in different ways, but still the same one God. But anyway, back to a little bit about Muhammad. He was very dedicated. He studied, and he started, well, in the desert, and he lived in a cave, and he prayed and read and meditated every day, I believe, from what I understand. And so, anyway, he became the last messenger through all his hard effort, the messenger of our God, or Allah, known. Now, in his life, Muhammad somewhat came back and resurrected the Hajj, and I'm not certainly sure if he was the first one to put it into Mecca, but that is what it sits today. And a lot of pilgrims go there every year, millions actually, not lots. It's probably the largest and one of the largest, if not the largest in the world. That the Muslim and pilgrims of all alike come to dedicate to Islam, the last messenger, and of course the Hajj and Allah too, all combined. I'm certainly sure. But now, because the subject is mainly about the Hajj more than it is actually about uh, Abraham or Muhammad or Islam, but the reason why I would speak about the Hajj, because one of the things that it says in the Quran, or at least from what I understand, it says that before, I'm not sure who said it in the Quran exactly, but this is what is known, that the Hajj apparently is it was before everything else. In simple words, it states that before everything, the Hajj was. I believe that's how it's stated. Before everything, the Hajj was. And that's a precise terminology, actually. Yes, the Quran is correct. Before everything, the Hajj was. So the Hajj is actually very important, because you gotta remember, everything is originated from the Hajj, because the Hajj was before everything was. Now, let me explain a little bit more about the Hajj. And because this is the real reason why I would talk about it, is the Hajj itself, not actually about Islam or Muhammad or Abraham or anyone else. Because the Hajj having such significant importance, it does. It is more important than just about everything. And the Hajj is the same thing as the cross that Jesus Christ was crucified on. It has the same significant meaning. Means identical. Now, a lot of people don't even know what the cross really means. It has a very significant meaning, actually, the cross that Jesus Christ was crucified on. It has the same meaning as the Hajj. So, in simple words, actually, what? Jesus Christ was crucified on the Hajj. But, of course, that Hajj did not look like the Hajj in Mecca. The Hajj in Mecca looks different, I understand. But still, in the bottom line, it is the same thing. Now I'll explain why. Because at first, I know the square and the cross don't look the same, first of all. I mean, that would, even a blind man can see that. So it'll be hard to tell somebody that, hey, the Hajj is the cross and the cross is the Hajj. Of course, that would not make any sense. But to lighten it a little bit more, to make sense, that I'd rather not to cross the two. I specifically only really want to talk about the Hajj, because first of all, the Hajj was first before the cross ever came along. So it has so Abraham beat Jesus by a little bit, some time frame, and so I will go with Abraham on this one, because he came first. Now, the Hajj, basically, the reason why it's a square, the Hajj, is because the way the electromagnetic field works, it works in cubic squared. And so the Hajj represents that function of the electromagnetic field, which is a cubic squared. But in real reality, that cubic square is slightly different than the one the Hajj, but it's very close though. Means what? It's like, I would say, close enough. Uh, uh, but if one had to really do it scientifically, precisely, it's slightly a little bit different. It's still a square. It's still a cubic square, just as the Hajj is, but the it's more like a cone cubic square, like it has a form of an angle on each side. But nevertheless, when you only look on from one side, it's actually just a square, because why? You don't see that cone shape, so it's just a square, and then because it runs in cubic square, so what Abraham did was extremely good. I mean, you couldn't have done it probably better. And not only that, when Muhammad took the Hajj, or resurrected the Hajj, I should say, and brought it back to life, and gave it the merits that it actually deserved right from day one, that it never had. Now, uh, when Muhammad, before Muhammad brought it to Mecca, when Abraham had it, I believe the Hajj was a little bit smaller than what he did. They erected a lot larger one than Abraham did, and it was probably more simplistic, I should say, without putting any negative words to it. Means it wasn't maybe quite as elaborate as the one they have that Mohammed put up, or they have today now, that Royal Saudi look after it in Mecca, or this in Arabia looks after it, the Hajj, and hosts annually the pilgrim and the believers, or the faith based groups that are from Islam. Uh, Now, when I say that uh, uh, the Hajj didn't probably look exactly the same once it was from one, but it was pretty close. Means it was more or less just a scale. But the reason why I want to say is that because Abraham was actually the one who came up with the Hajj, or not came up, but first one to decipher it, or to bring it to a picture or life for us to see, all of us. Now, when 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 Muhammad took that at that time, because of his extraordinary work and his belief in Allah, or direct meditation and communication with Allah, he could devise or understand the Hajj very well. Means what? Muhammad knew what the Hajj was, and that's why he picked it up. And not only that, that's why it's written in the Quran, before everything was, the Hajj was. Before everything, the Hajj was. And it couldn't have been stated much better, because that's actually the truth of the fact. Before all of this in existence, the Hajj was. And that is true. Okay, now, again, to go back to when Muhammad picked that up, or when Muhammad was seeing these things, he simply just took Abraham's version, more or less, and whatever he, of course, also received from Allah, and of course put that up there. But it was brilliant that he did that, because really, yes, before everything, the Hajj was. And that's why the Hajj is actually more important than everything. And the reason why it's more important than anything, because the Hajj is a very integral part of all of existence, or should I say, everything that happens to us every day, in and out, and since ever the beginning of time. So the Hajj is sort of it's the drive mechanism of everything that we see today here, outcome in whether it's on Earth or outside the Earth or wherever, or in way deep inside that we cannot see, whether it's large, small, or the size we are. The Hajj is relatively is the is it not relatively, it is the fuel source for that drives all things in existence. That's why the Hajj was before everything was, because the fuel drive system was before everything you see here, in order for it to drive what we see here today and how it comes out. So again, the Hajj, which is today in Mecca, is a very important statue of 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 existence, as those people could see in those days, and that was actually brilliant, because it's exactly what it is. Existence runs in cubic square, but with a specific equation though, and that's not bad actually. The Hajj that Abraham did, and that Muhammad revived, the last messenger. I definitely have to congratulate Muhammad for that. Couldn't have done better. And again, it is to talk good about Islam, to talk good about the last messenger Muhammad, and especially exceptionally good about Abraham. And the best part, the Hajj. That is an important part. And if anybody ever has a chance to go to Mecca, which I personally never did, I think it would be a lifetime experience, because why? Of the significant importance what the Hajj itself is. Now, I am not here trying to advertise to get a whole bunch of people to Mecca, or to create tourism for the Saudis, but just as going to Israel is important. It's a lifetime, and to go into Jerusalem and all those places where Jesus and everybody else was. That is also a lifetime thing. Again, I'm not trying to drive tourism to there, but if ever or anybody has the chance to go in any one of those two places, it is definitely historic in proportion, because of the significant value of those things are. There are other things. There are other things that are as equally as valuable as the Hajj, because they represent the Hajj, or the same thing as the Hajj, just in a different form. Now, the Hajj can be described in different method. Not only the cubic square. That's just one. That's one method that Abraham did, but there are other people who had put their methods out, which are also correct. Now, I have to give it to Abraham, because the one he brought out is definitely different than everybody else's. And what is even so more unique, that not only is it different than everybody else, but it's actually correct. And it's only correct if you know what the Hajj is, so you know what to look for, to be able to see that that is actually right, what Abraham did and Muhammad later revived, which was exceptional. Meaning, Muhammad didn't actually do a lot of extra work to it, additionally to it, to give more detailed explanation of the Hajj than what Abraham did. So I really, if I had to, the credit for the Hajj should go to Abraham, because he was actually the first one to bring it to us. Although I have to give extreme credit for the Muhammad, the last messenger, because of him reviving that. It was so significant and important, almost more important than everything that he ever did or everything ever happened. That's how important I think what Muhammad did for resurrecting the Hajj back once and for all in Mecca, which is wonderful to see. And like I say, now to give you more little detail, what actually the Hajj is. The Hajj is a focal point when you take a look. It sits in the middle of a square, the center, the Hajj. That's actually what it is. And everyone is around, right? So it sits in the middle, and everybody looks at it from all kinds of angles to it, all around. That's correct. That's how the Hajj works, actually. It's in the middle, weird, and everything faces to it and runs everything. Uh, uh, Basically, manage or keeps track or I call it address labels everything. He puts everything into the correct place, and everything is precisely aligned and uniform, and account can be measured and everything else. It's on and on and on. It's quite interesting. But anyway, if you ever have a chance to go to Mecca, you should stop and well, I'm not sure. You have to find out yourself uh, exactly how uh, that works in Mecca. I mean, I don't know enough. Means you'd have to investigate and find out how you can get there and what it requires to get there and what it takes to actually be part of it. So you have to do a little bit of research and don't just head there and on a wild goose chase. So I wouldn't do that, okay? I would definitely find out first exactly all the rules and regulation before you go to it, because I believe it's strict rules that they adhere by, which is good. That keeps everybody in good shape. And not only that, I'm also aware that the Royal Saudi have an extreme great service for the pilgrim there, and the facilities there look like world class to me that I've seen, and I'm actually impressed the service and all the venues they have available for the pilgrim as they go through. Yeah, you name it, all the facilities and everything that they put together there is an amazing accomplishment. I have to commend the Royal Saudis for that. But anyway, uh, another thing is that what I wanted to say before I go, an important part that it says in the Quran, or I think it was said by the last messenger Muhammad. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me, but I may basically take a look, make sure that I'm not wrong. But one of the important things that he said, which I had great admiration for that statement, and the statement is this: is that the ink of a scholar is worth more than the blood of a martyr. Okay, now what am I saying? Basically, the video that I'm making today is the ink of a scholar, which is worth more than a martyr. Now remember, the Hajj is a very important part of everything in all of existence. And Abraham was the first to bring, and Muhammad resurrected. And today it's available in Mecca for all of us to go see. And you should go see if you ever have a chance. If not, at least you know a little bit about it. Hopefully you had fun, and I hope to see you guys again next time, and I'll have another interesting topic. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.